Hi, this is Anthony Lighthall. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of From Dreams to Actions, where we talk about business goals, supporting positive energy, and following your dreams. On today's episode, we're going to talk about being consistent. Now, consistency is really important, and that's what I want to talk about on this episode today. Basically, the importance of it, a couple tips on to help you be consistent, how consistency can help you grow followers on social media, or really just to set your mental on I'm going to be able to achieve this. Consistency is really key, but then you also have to understand that being flexible and agile is equally important as well throughout your consistent journey. So those are a couple things that I definitely want to share with you today on today's episode. And again, it's really about sharing the different ways to really pivot, reaching your dreams, your aspirations, which is pretty much this whole podcast and inspiring people. But I think consistency is definitely key. And if you look at successful people, whoever you call successful or who has achieved the impossible, they were consistent on something and they believed in themselves. And a lot of times they kind of were consistent in the background or consistent in silence until they were ready to launch what they were doing or achieve what they were doing. So let's go ahead and get into it for the show today. So the first thing I want to talk about is the excitement stage. There's a stage when you want to start a business, you want to learn a new language, you want to um, search for a new job, get in shape for the gym after the new year. There's always like that sense of excitement because it's something new, and you have a vision where it's like, I'm going to accomplish this, I'm going to do it. I People always told me I was good at this, or I know I can accomplish this and reach those heights and that goal. But sometimes after that excitement stage, it wears off. And the excitement stage is the excitement, the determination, you're going to do it. But then when you don't see that success is around the corner, or you're not seeing the results that you thought you were going to see in 3 months, in 6 months, in 3 years, then that consistency is like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I think that's so crucial and important because people have to continue to keep that momentum. I hear a lot about entertainers um, that you might hear about now, but 10 years ago they actually started. So you may listen to your favorite singer, your favorite rapper, or see your favorite actress in this movie, in this role, or on this song, and they're popular, or they may not even be popular. They're still like in the beginning stage. They're like the buzz. They're like the hot topic right now, but they're still new. But when you really read their background and hear about their journey, they started 10 years ago or they started 15 years ago. The thing is, they're where they are at now because they were consistent throughout all those years. There were so many times they could have given up. Everyone has a story, but they were consistent. And I think that excitement stage, you have to continue to find and search for that excitement stage, knowing that you're doing something, you're doing more than most. And someone is probably watching you. You are probably representing a specific community, and you have to think about other ways that are going to keep you motivated. But again, just starting off, I wanted to talk about the excitement stage because that's always the beginning stage. It's always fun, and then you don't see the results, and then you fall off and you stop. So let's give an example of, let's say you're searching for a new job and you've been at your company, I don't know, 3 years. You feel like you've checked all the boxes, you're trying to grow professionally and you're looking at new opportunities. And so in your mind, you're like, hey, I'm marketable. I have these certifications, I have this degree, etc. Um, no problem. I'm gonna sit here and leave this company in the next 2 months, or you say 3 months, I'll be out of here. And you're applying and it's not 3 months. You're getting into rejections. You're going through the interview process and not getting into the final round or getting selected for an offer. And now it's 6 months. Now it's 7 months. Now it's 9 months. You have to continue to keep that consistency because, as an example, with using a new job in the job seeking market, you have to be consistent because it's like it's a numbers game. So the more you apply, the more chances or probability or opportunities that you may have. The more applications, you may have to apply to 50 applications before you even get one phone screen. You may have to apply to 100 applications depending uh, on your industry or your background credentials. You may have to apply to 100 open job positions before you even get a second round interview. So it's a lot of different things you have to think about, especially using the example of a new job. And you can substitute this for any other things out there, but you have to continue to keep that consistency. And if your goal is to find a new employer, to find a new job, just eliminate the time aspect of it and just add the consistency part of it. Um, because it's going to be crucial. It's going to be something you're definitely going to have to focus on and be mentally ready for. Another thing I wanted to mention is that consistency isn't guaranteed success. So as I mentioned before, where people kind of fall off after 3 months, after 6 months of something because they're not seeing positive results, it happens, and it's because it's not just because you are so focused and headstrong about this and excited about it. Not everybody else probably is going to be excited about it at this time, but you do it and you're consistent for the next 18 months or the next 25 months. Now it's the hot thing. Now it's, wow, I didn't know you were skilled in this. Now it's people watching you, and that consistency of you building, let's say, that portfolio of whatever you've been working on is paying off. And now people are starting to look at you and follow you since the beginning, and now look at your track of where you're at now. So the thing is, again, it's a numbers game. It's not guaranteed. You just have to be consistent with what you're doing. And the same principles apply to learning any other skill, learning a new language, or trying to increase followers on social media. You know, you have to keep pushing forward in order to see results that you think are going to be unachievable. And it's not instant, it's not guaranteed, but if you are in the forefront and you are consistently showing that you are serious about this, that's when people take you serious. And I think the social media aspect of this, and I think I have an example later on, is so key when people are trying to get their followers up and I don't have enough likes and things. Okay, how much are you posting? Oh, like once a week. And it's like, look at your competitors. They're posting 4 times a day. They have reels, they have stories, they have posts, they're doing so many things where they're always in someone's face. Whereas at the time, like, okay, I'm just gonna like it, or oh, this is wow, they're always showing different products. Let me go into their website, and so it's almost like that out of sight, out of mind mentality. So if you're not getting the results you want, again, we're still focusing on the social media example, then continue to boost that up and see what other ideas or other ways for you to really get in the face of others so that you can get those likes and you can get those follows as an example. But again, success, consistency is not guaranteed success. Now, with the consistency, there are going to be setbacks. There are going to be distractions. There's going to be certain things that, whatever you want to call it, the element, the universe, the enemy, that's going to stop you or want to stop you from achieving something that you believe so hard in. It's a distraction. Do not let it distract you. You keep going and stay focused depending on what you're working on, okay? And depending on that distraction or situation. But the thing is, you have to be flexible because um, that setback could be a setup, so that something that's stopping you from a goal and a consistency may be beneficial for you at that given time, where it's telling you to kind of slow down. You're doing good. You're doing good. Just kind of slow down a little bit. I'm going to stop you from doing what you're doing right now, but you're going to get back on it in the next week, or maybe in that next month. But right now there is an emergency. There's something happening that needs your attention. Let's put this on pause. You're in a good state, but let's go ahead and take care of this emergency right now. Once that is taken care of, we're going to get back on the grind and stay focused and keep being consistent. Okay. Also, with flexibility, you are going to learn more about yourself and learn how to adapt to certain situations and experiences, which is really good. That's key as well, with the consistency and the flexibility piece of it, where you get to learn about yourself internally, not just the external factors, but also the internal factors for you as an individual, being able to uh, get through these obstacles, get through these challenges, even have a story, once you achieve that goal or that consistency. I remember there was a time where I had to go and take care of my sibling, and I was raised by a single mother, and I had to kind of put this on pause and focus on them, get them ready for school and make their lunches, certain things in life, they just throw you curveballs. But getting back to that consistency and focusing on what you're trying to do is definitely going to be very important. And I would say one thing too is, don't think about right now, think about tomorrow. Think about um, doing things day by day, doing what you can, but still keeping that momentum and keeping that consistency going. Okay. Let me give an example of fishing. So I like to go fishing. I have a fishing kayak. I'm in different lakes, different ponds, wherever I can launch that kayak, I'm in there. And I enjoy fishing, and I have a lot of patience to do fishing. And that's number one. When people are like, teach me how to fish, I'm like, do you have patience? Because if you don't, this is not going to be a fun leisure for you. You're going to get frustrated. But the thing is, there's times where I could be out in the middle of the lake 2, 3 hours straight. One, because I just enjoy being out in the water like that and outdoors. But when I'm not catching anything, I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I didn't catch anything. But I'm also learning and being consistent and, casting that reel, or putting on a worm, night crawlers as they're technically called, but a worm on there, or using artificial baits or lures to try to attract the fish. Also, I'm learning different times of the day to go fishing. What are the best times? The seasons. There's so much that goes into that, where it's like, if I'm not catching fish in this area and I'm fishing in an open body, okay, well, let me take my kayak and go towards more of tall grass and fish over there. And what's the going to be the best bait for tall grass, or for places that are where I can get really tangled up with the hook, with different weeds and stuff like that. So if I'm not catching, I'm thinking, okay, well, what else can I do? Let me try this hook. Let me try this bait. Let me cast this far or cast this short, all these different things. But at the end of the day, I'm still consistent, and I'm learning. And then eventually I catch a fish, or eventually I get a nibble, and it's like, oh, okay, let's keep this bait on here. Let's keep this fishing lure on here, because I just got a bite over here. Let me start casting out, and then let me start moving to this area. So using it as an example, because there's so many avenues that you can go into, especially with fishing. Um, that I won't go into. I won't bore you with that. But um, the whole point is the consistency of it, and learning from these failures, learning from things that aren't working. And that's what you have to understand and know, especially with being flexible. So I just wanted to share that example with you. The next one here is visibility. I kind of mentioned this before, and I'm gonna give example with social media again. Um, but when you're consistent, people take notice. Like I said, they take you more serious. Oh, I want to go to the gym and work out and get my body right, for the summer. So you're working out in the wintertime after the new year, and you're still working out and now it's April. You're still working out, it's May. You're still working out, it's June. You got the body you want, but you haven't stopped. You're still working out, it's July. You're still working out, it's August. So that consistency shows the seriousness that you're in it to win it. You're in this. This is not a phase, it's a lifestyle change, and you're focused on it. So visibility is really big. So as an example with the social media, I kind of mentioned this in the beginning with trying to up your followers and the likes and all of these other things. It's the consistency. How many times are you posting a day or posting a week? Showing your audience, you know, the commitment, and they recognize that commitment. It gets to the point where they're going to start to follow you. They're going to start to comment on certain things that you're doing. Wow, I see you're always busy. I see you out here. I see what you're doing. Maybe you're a candle maker. Wow, you got candles for every season. Wow, I like that candle. It looks like a candy cane, for the holiday season. So when you show how serious you are, other people will reflect on that and show how serious they are about what you're posting or what you're doing. So definitely be visible with your consistency if it's in that manner of social media and you're trying to show off something, or maybe you're just trying to increase your likes as an individual. Um, Consistency is discipline. And I say that because, again, it's a lifestyle change. Are you in this? How bad do you want it? Consistency could be every day I'm doing something, every other day I'm doing something, twice a day I'm doing something. Whatever that schedule is, be consistent with it and do something. Again, it's a mindset shift. It is the discipline that you are going to do this. It's part of your lifestyle. It's part of brushing your teeth in the morning or at night. It's part of eating. It's part of going to the bathroom. It's part of doing homework with your kids. The consistency. You're doing something. It's part of your lifestyle now. Um, and like I said, you're also learning and understanding more about yourself with the consistency. Maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you get distracted too easy. Maybe consistency is you've never read a full book. At You start small. You start with 75 pages. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Let me do 100 pages. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Let me do 300 pages. Okay, that's a nice challenge, but I was consistent with reading and I finished it. Versus somebody who may not like to read, and they read for a little bit because that excitement kicks in. I'm gonna start reading. I'm gonna start reading about leaders and reading about finances and how to attack my dad and stuff. And they're reading these books, and then they just kind of fall off because they're not seeing the results, or they're like, oh, these books suck. They're not telling me anything. I'll just go on YouTube. So as an example, reading. It's the consistency of that. And you learn that about yourself if this is for you or not, depending on what that situation is and what you're trying to do. I want to give an example with school, specifically college and higher learning. So in the US, usually the typical educational track is graduate from high school, then you go off to 4-year college or a trade school. Trade schools are usually, I'd probably say, between 1 to 3 years. Um, Maybe after college, you go to grad school, then you go for your PhD, maybe there's certifications, different things like that. That's usually like the typical track. Going to school is not for everybody. From K to 12, it's um, it's ingrained in us to go to school and at least get your diploma, at least graduate from high school, at least, especially to at least get a job. Um, but people want to continue their education so that they can increase um, their capital, their money. You know, Usually that's what it is. You got more schooling, education, you're going to increase how much you're going to make. Not always like that, but that's what is told and sold to us. But going to college, I remember, going to college, it's that excitement period. People go off to school or they start college and their family's proud. They come back after 6 months. They come back after a year. This isn't for me. I'm just too distracted, or I missed home. or I don't like the classes, or it's just difficult. It's a, it's a challenge for them. Sometimes people are great in high school, college they have a tough time. Sometimes people are um, great in college, but they weren't the best in high school. I'm that person. I enjoyed going to school. College was better for me than high school. I was more of an adult. I could control my schedule, go to class when I felt was best for me in my schedule. Um, High school I wasn't all about that life. I didn't really like high school. But the thing is, with college, I learned and understood about myself that I like to learn. I like to engage in those conversations. I'm an adult now. I'm working and going to school. I can apply what I'm learning at work and bring that to school and share with my classmates and the professor. And what I'm learning at school in class, I can apply that to work. So I really like that pair and being that person to really speak up and voice my opinion and work on great projects with people, et cetera, et cetera. But the example here is school. It's that consistency. It's that, okay, I just did 4 years college. I want to go back for my MBA. Okay, that's another, depending on fast track. Sometimes you can get an MBA in a year, but usually MBAs are like 2 years or so. Um, okay, I want to maybe be an educator one day or be a researcher. I'm going to go for my PhD and go for my dissertation. That's about 5 to 7 years, I want to say, for that. But it's that consistency. Doctors, consistency. A dentist, consistency. Lawyers, consistency. There's other higher education that they have to do in order to reach that goal that they want to accomplish. Consistency. Okay. So let's go ahead and wrap up here with a couple remarks here. Um, Overall, consistency is the bedrock of success. Like I said, success is not guaranteed and it's not overnight, but you are pursuing some type of goal and you are creating some type of momentum with what you're trying to achieve. Remember that this is not a sprint, it is a marathon, and it is the journey, not just the destination, or not just the ending of that destination. So, you know, again, it's just keeping the wheels turning, keeping the momentum. Once you feel accomplished and you reach that goal, that's great. Congratulate yourself, pop some champagne, and get back to work because now there's another goal that you have to accomplish. The goal that you just accomplished took 9 months. The other goal that you're trying to accomplish, that you need to accomplish this now, but you need to accomplish this first before you accomplish this next one. That's going to take 36 months. So let's get back to work. So it's again, it's the consistency, it's the learning. I can do this. I read that 75-page book. Now I'm going to read 150. Now I'm going to read 300. I got through high school. Now I'm going to a 4 year college, or I'm going to that trade school. And then I'm going to continue to get certifications to be that electrician, to be that plumber, to be that carpenter. It's that consistency. It's continuing to challenge yourself and building that resilience so that you can be flexible throughout that experience with you as well. Again, stay visible, show people how consistent you are, show them how serious you are about going back to the gym and changing your eating habits and your lifestyle, and show that discipline because they're going to applaud that. They're going to see how serious you are. And I would definitely say, make sure that you do something today that your future self will, thank you for, with that consistency. Wow, as a singer, if I didn't do all of that stuff back then 7 years ago, I wouldn't be on American Idol, or I wouldn't have got signed with that record label, or I wouldn't have been found at that talent show, by that executive or that large record company. So consistency, everyone, that's the key. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for watching, and always remember to follow your dreams.